Welcome to another video on the C programming video series for the beginners. In this video, we will talk about comments in C programming language. We will see what are comments, why we need to use them, and how we can use them. Now, once you learn the C programming language, you will start working on the projects, and depending on the complexity of the project will contain the source code written in multiple source files, and each file will contain hundreds or thousands of lines of code. Now, in real world programming, it's not like you create the project or program once and you never work on that again. As a programmer, we have to first create the project, and then we have to work on that project again and again from time to time. It can be for various reasons. For example, we may want to add new features, or we may want to remove certain logic and we want to replace that with a much better logic, or it can be for any reason. And also, most oftenly, we have to work with the code which is written by some other developers, some other programmers. Now, in order to work with the code, first we have to understand what that code is doing. Now imagine, let us say you have a project which contains thousands of lines of code which implements some complex logic. Now, as a programmer, if you want to work with that code, you have to understand how the program is working, why certain instructions are used, etc. Now, what you can do is you can read through the code, and then you try to analyze and understand why certain statements are used and what is the logic behind them. But it will take more time, because maybe you are working on your own code after 6 months or 2 years, or after a long time, or maybe you are working with someone else's code and you are not familiar with the way they write the programs. So in order to solve these kind of problems, what we can do is, in our source code, we can write the detailed description about why certain statement is used, how the logic is implemented, etc. Now, as a programmer, when you read the source code and when there is these detailed instructions are present, you can easily understand the code. It will reduce the time that is required just to understand the code, and you can start working on that very quickly. So in order to write the detailed description about the code and logic, we use something called as comments. These comments are nothing but the description that you write in your code, maybe about a particular statement or maybe about certain logic which is implemented, etc. So in C programming language, we have two types of comments. One is called as single line comment, and second one is called as multi-line comment. As the name indicates, single line comment is a comment or a description that you can write in a single line. In order to use the single line comment, we have to use 2 forward slash like this, and then we can write the description. For example, here I can say this is a single line comment. And in our source code, we can have as many comments that we want. For example, here I will write another comment for this printf statement, and here I'm gonna say printing text on the screen. Now this command here is absolutely not needed, because if someone knows the C programming language, then they know what the printf function does. But this is how you can write a single line comment. Now similarly, we have the multi-line comments, which are nothing but the comments that you can write in multiple lines. In order to use the multi-line comment, we have to have forward slash and then a star. This will indicate that the multi-line comment begins, and then it ends with star and a forward slash, just like this. Here we can write the comment or detailed description. So here I'm going to say this is a multi-line comment. This can be in multiple lines. Now similarly, if you want, you can use this multi-line comment and you can write the comment in single line. For example, let us say this is a multi-line comment, but it will be there only for just one single line. For example, this is in one single line. Generally, instead of using the multi-line comment here, we can use this single line comment. But if you want, you can use like this. Now, as a programmer, you should use comments in your source code, and also you have to make sure that you don't overuse them. For example, As I said before, here this particular comment is not needed at all, because programmer can easily understand what exactly is happening here. In your code, whenever you think that, okay, this particular logic may be difficult for someone else to understand, or maybe for you to understand after some time period, so you will use a comment and you will write the detailed description. So whenever you find it is necessary to write a comment or write the detailed description, you can use either single line comment or a multi-line comment, and you can write that. Okay, now the next thing is, okay, what about the program's output? When I use the comments here, whether they will be compiled or whether they will be executed. Now, the comments that we use in our source code is only for the programmer's reference. It will not be compiled and it will not be executed. These comments are actually removed by a program which runs just before the compilation process, which is called as a preprocessor. But since you guys are beginners here, we will talk about the preprocessors in a separate video. Actually, when the preprocessor program runs before the compilation process, it will remove the comments from the source code and it will provide the modified source file to the compiler for the compilation process. So these comments are not compiled and they will not be executed. Now, if I save this program and run this, we will get only this as the output, which is this printf statement. Now, the next thing that we're going to talk about here is, now we know that when we have comments in our code, that will not be compiled and that will not be executed. Now, as programmers, we take advantage of this feature, which is nothing but, now let us say we have these many statements in here. Now let us say now I want to test certain things and I don't want to execute this particular statement, but I don't want to delete it because I'm not sure whether this one is needed or not. So if I delete it, then if I think I need it, then I have to write it again. So because of that, what we can do is we can make this particular statement as a comment. Here I'm gonna make it a single line comment. Now it will be treated as a comment and it will not be executed. So I can save this program, and if I run this now, you can see 1, 2, then 4 and 5. This statement which prints 3 here, it is treated as a comment. Now after that, if I think, okay, I need this statement, then I just have to uncomment this like this. And then if I save the program and if I run this, it will be there. It will be compiled and it will be executed, as you guys can see. Now similarly, you can use the multi-line comment here. For example, here I want to make these 3 statements as comments. What I can do, I can make them individually as single line comments, or I can use the multi-line comment. For example, I can say /* and then up to here, I'm gonna make it as a comment. Now these 3 statements are treated as a comment. They will not be compiled. They will not be executed. Save the program and run this. Now you can see we get 1 and 5. Now we use this a lot in our programs. Whenever we want to test certain part of the code, we can make it comment, we can uncomment, and we can take advantage of this. Now the last thing that we're going to talk about here in this tutorial is about the nested comments. We're going to uncomment this. Now let us say while testing the code, I'm going to make this printf statement which displays 3 as a single line comment, and I run the program, everything works. This statement which prints 3 will not be executed, but later I may decide to make these much statements starting from here up to here as multi-line comment. Now here, if I save this program and if I run this, we get 1 and 5. What happened here is we have a multi-line comment, and inside this multi-line comment, we have a single line comment. There will not be any special meaning to this. This will just be treated as a comment once it is a multi-line comment. Now, let us say one more situation that can arise is that, let us say, while testing the code, we may decide to make these two statements as multi-line comments. So I'm gonna make this here, and this one also a multi-line comment. Okay, now again, if I save the program, if I run this, everything works. But later I may decide to make from this statement, that is from this part to this part as a comment. So here we will make it a multi-line comment like this. Now we have problem. When we decide to do this, what is happening? Here, remember, a multi-line comment starts with / star and it ends with star /. Now this was previously a multi-line comment, and now we wanted to make this much as part of the multi-line comment. Since this multi-line comment is containing another multi-line comment inside, it will not work. That's just because when the preprocessor sees this star and slash, it ends the multi-line comment right there. And that's why you can have a single line comment nested inside a multi-line comment, but you can't have a multi-line comment nested inside a multi-line comment. If it is confusing, don't worry. When this situation arises, when you write the program, then at that time you guys may understand it properly. This is it guys for this particular video. Thank you for watching. If you like the video, hit the like button. If you don't like it, hit the dislike button. If you have anything to say, write that in the comment box. For more tutorials, subscribe to the channel.